The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would now move the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve them? Okay. Can I get a second? Questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. Now at this time, I would turn this part over to Councilman Ledford, who's going to give us a tribute to Chattanooga's Fallen Five on this, the 4th anniversary of this terrorist attack on our city. Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't want to let this day go by and not remember what happened in our city 4 years ago. On this date, 5 lives were taken from us in an unimaginable event. These 5 men served our country, protected our freedom, and gave the ultimate sacrifice. I would like to ask you now to join me in a moment of silence as we honor the lives and service to our community and great nation by these 5 great men. Sergeant Carson A. Holmquist, Gunnery Sergeant Thomas J. Sullivan, Staff Sergeant David A. Wyatt, Lance Corporal Squire K. Skip Wells, and Navy Petty Officer 2nd Class Randall J. Smith. May God bless their families, and may God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Levy, for that tribute. Now we'll move on to ordinances on final reading. Madam Clerk, 5A, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone part of an unaddressed property located in the 8200 block of Appleton Pike, more particularly described herein from R1 residential zone to C2 convenience commercial zone, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Ledford.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Motion carries. B, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 5613 Clark Road, more particularly described herein from R1 residential zone to C2 convenience commercial zone and R3 residential zone, subject to certain conditions.
Would you check it? Okay, we got some. Okay. Yeah, got mic problem. On this side right here, do y'all have it? Okay, try it now. Okay. Yeah, we got it now. Councilwoman Burrs?
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded by Councilman Gilbert. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. C, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties located in the 7200 block of Bonnie Oaks Drive, more particularly described herein from R1 residential zone to R4 special zone, subject to certain conditions.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Mr. Chair, the applicant has asked to defer for 1 week to 7/23. So I move that.
Okay. It's been moved and properly seconded to defer till 7:23. Is there any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. D, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 3509 7th Avenue, more particularly described herein from R1 residential zone to C2 convenience commercial zone.
Council?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Thank you very much by Councilman Smith. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. E, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties in the 3700 through 3900 blocks of St. Elmo Avenue, more particularly described herein from C2 convenience Commercial Zone to UGC Urban General Commercial Zone, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Ledford.
Mr. Chairman, this is also in your district. I move to approve if you are willing.
Yes, thank you very much, Councilman. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. F, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 1505 East 14th Street, more particularly described herein from R1 residential zone to RTZ residential townhouse zero lot line zone, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Byrd. It's been moved and properly seconded by Councilman Ledford. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. G, please.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, Article 5, zoning regulations, Division 28, A1 urban agricultural zone, Section 38-453, permitted uses, and adding new Section 38-460 regarding applicability.
Councilman Ledford.
Move to approve.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded by Councilwoman Byrd. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. Now we'll have ordinances on first reading. 6A, please.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 31, sewers, main and drains, Article 8, stormwater management, Division 2, relative to new development and redevelopment requirements, and amending Division 7 relative to fees.
Councilman Mitchell. It's been moved and properly seconded by Councilman Ledford. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to resolutions, Madam Clerk. 7A, please.
A resolution approving short-term vacation rental application number 19 STVR 00088 for property house located at 1416 Madison Street.
Councilman Byrd.
Thank you, Chair. I've talked with the community and the people that are presenting this as well, and I move to approve.
Excellent. Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded by Councilman Smith. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. Madam Clerk, B.
A resolution approving short-term vacation rental application number 19 STVR 00094 for property ADU located at 1416 Madison Street.
Councilman Byrd.
This is another one we also have had in-depth conversation about. Move to approve.
Been moved and properly seconded by Councilman Smith. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. C, please.
A resolution authorizing the chief of the Chattanooga Fire Department to extend the supplemental fire services agreement with Tri-Community Volunteer Fire Department for 2 years for a total amount of $267,928.
Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At our 3 o'clock session, I did ask Chief Hyman to provide us with a map of the areas that are being served through this contract, and that will be distributed on all of your email inboxes. And with that, I move to approve.
Excellent. Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. D, please.
A resolution authorizing the appointment of Dwayne Walker as a special police officer unarmed for the Land Development Office and the Department of Economic and Community Development to do special duty as prescribed herein, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Gilbert. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. Now we move on to public works items. E, please, Madam Clerk.
A resolution authorizing the award of contract number W1A0192001 to SAC Construction LLC of Oak Island, Missouri, South Chickamauga Interceptor Improvements, Phase 1, for a contract amount of $5,373,000.
Councilman Gilbert.
Move to approve.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. F, please.
A resolution authorizing approval of change order number 1 final for Tri-State Roofing Contractor LLC of Chattanooga, Tennessee, relative to contract number Y18003-201, replacement roofing system for South Chattanooga Center Building for an increased amount of $8,011 to release the remaining contingency amount $21,489 for revised contract amount of $302,355.
Councilman Mitchell.
Move approval. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. G, please.
A resolution authorizing the street naming the 200 block of an unnamed alley between William Street and Coward Street to the 200 block of Coward Side Alley for more accurate provisions of emergency services.
Councilman Mitchell.
Move approval. Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. H, please.
A resolution authorizing the award of contract number Y15008A03 to CBI Group of Chattanooga, Tennessee, Avondale YFD Center, FFE Furniture, in the amount of $164,099.28 with a contingency amount of $8,900.72 for an amount not to exceed $173,000.
Councilman Byrd.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded by Councilwoman Coonrod. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. Transportation now, Madam Clerk. Aye.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Transportation to enter into a partnership agreement with Bristol Chattanooga Partners, LLC, project number T20001, for the Somerville Connector Construction Project, and to accept the design and a contribution of 50% up to $250,000.
Councilman Mitchell.
Move approval. Second.
Been moved and properly seconded by Councilman Ledford. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. J, please.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Transportation to apply for and, if awarded, accept an advanced transportation and congestion management technologies deployment grant from the United States Department of Transportation for the Chattanooga Area First Responder and Multimodal Systems application, with a local match provided by city and county in kind contribution not to exceed $2.6 million for a total amount not to exceed $5.1 million.
Councilman Mitchell.
Move approval.
It's been moved and properly seconded by Councilman Ledford. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to purchasing. Ms. Woodard.
Good evening. We have one emergency purchase to report to you tonight. It's on behalf of the Youth and Family Development Department. It's for the emergency purchase of liability insurance for social services, and it was awarded to public entity partners for a total amount of $45,178.30.
Okay.
And if I could ask the Administrator of Youth and Family Development to join me, please.
Okay.
All right, thank you. And we'll move on to our regular purchases list. First, on behalf of the Finance Department, we have 11 new blanket contracts for citywide utility service payments to be awarded to first Atlanta Gas, second Tennessee American Water, third City of Ringgold, Clinton Utilities, East Side Utility District, Hickson Utility District, Lenore City Utility Board, North Georgia Electric Membership Corporation, Savannah Valley Utility District, Volunteer Energy Cooperative, and finally Electric Power Board of Chattanooga, for a total estimated annual amount of $21,980,000. Second, on behalf of the Police Department, we have a new blanket contract for police officer uniforms to be awarded to Summit Uniforms in an estimated annual amount of $490,000. The remaining 12 purchases are on behalf of our Public Works Department, first being the purchase of Hunter Wind Aligner and Scissor Lift for fleet management to be awarded to Myers Tire Supply and an estimated annual, it should not say estimated, but a total amount of $52,211. Next, the increase to the authorized expenditure of blanket contract for root control services to be awarded to Duke's Root Control in a revised total estimated annual amount of $140,000. Next, a new blanket contract for grounds maintenance for Enterprise South Industrial Park to be awarded to RNA Property Maintenance in an estimated annual amount of $35,000. Next, a blanket contract renewal for high-visibility work clothes to be awarded to Reflective Apparel Factory, Inc. in an estimated annual amount of $125,000. Next, a blanket contract renewal for custodial services at the Miller Park Complex to be awarded to Jana King of Chattanooga in an estimated annual amount of $30,000. Next, a blanket contract renewal for grounds maintenance for Birchwood and Summit landfills to be awarded to Levin Contracting Company, Inc. in an estimated annual amount of $140,000. Next, a blanket contract renewal for grounds maintenance for city right-of-ways to be awarded to Special Touch Lawn Care in an estimated annual amount of $125,000. Next, 3 blanket contract renewals for service repair and parts on all medium and heavy-duty vehicles to be awarded to first Chattanooga Truck Center, Inc., second MHC Kenworth, DBA Tennessee Kenworth, Inc., and third Lee Smith, Inc., for a total estimated annual amount of $900,000. Next, 2 new blanket contract renewals for grounds maintenance for city park levees and greenway to be awarded to Sykes Services LLC, DBA City Green Services, and second Special Touch Lawn Care in a total estimated annual amount of $31,000. Next, 2 blanket contract renewals for generator maintenance and repair services to be awarded to First Energy Systems Southeast LLC and second Stowers Machinery Corporation in a total estimated annual amount of $160,000. Next, the blanket contract renewal for liquid calcium nitrate to be awarded to Evoqua Water Technologies LLC in an estimated annual amount of $2.5 million. And finally, the blanket contract renewal for sewer pipe to be awarded to Consolidated Pipe and Supply for an estimated annual amount of $150,000.
Council, what is your pleasure? It's been moved and properly seconded by Councilman Byrd. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Woodard.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll move on to other business. Ms. Sullivan, got some good stuff for us?
I do. Thank you, sir. I appreciate this time. We have been given a gift, a very generous gift from an anonymous donor to the Office of Early Learning, $13,200. And while this is not an amount that we would need to give to you as a resolution, it is still an amount that we want to notify you of so that we can accept those dollars into the city budget. It's $13,200, an anonymous donor through the Community Foundation, and it is specifically for the early learning program around providing high-quality curriculum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Is there any other business the council would like to share before I get to it? Okay, in District 7, this coming Saturday, we will have a movie night in the park, and it is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So it's, would understand it'll be a very good movie, but we're asking everybody to come out. There'll be free ice cream, popcorn, there'll be a toucher truck, and Tennessee American Water will have this sprinkler system so the kids can run through and stay cool up until the movie. So everybody's invited. It is at the Southside Community Park in Alton Park, right off 38 and Central Avenue. The fun begins at 7 p.m. and the movie begins approximately 8:30. And you know that depends on when the sun goes down. But we inviting all of Chattanooga to come out and enjoy this great evening in Alton Park at the Southside Community Park. Then want to once again congratulate one of my colleagues, City Attorney Phil Noblet. He has become a grandfather. So congratulations. You want to give us some little? Okay, I don't blame you.
We now have Gabriel
Joseph Noblet, who was born on July the 13th at 9 pounds, 8 ounces, and is healthy along with his mom. So that's very good.
Congratulations, 9 pounds.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tennessee Vol, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's actually all I have under other business. If council has no other business, we'll move now on to recognitions of person wishing to address the council on non-agenda items. What is? Huh? Oh, I'm so committees. Yeah, that 9-pound baby got me. I was just thinking about that. Okay, thank you, Councilman Gilbert. Committee reports. Councilwoman Byrd. Councilman Anthony Byrd. No report, sir. Councilwoman Coonrod. Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Gilbert.
No report.
Councilman Ledford.
No report, sir.
Councilman Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We will have a Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting next Tuesday following Youth and Family Development Committee meeting.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Smith. No report, Mr. Chair. Thank you, sir. Now we'll move on to recognition of person wishing to address the council on non-agenda matters. Mr. City Attorney, would you please read the rules?
Yes, sir. At the end of each council meeting, the chairperson can recognize members of the public that wish to address the council pursuant to the council's rules of operation. These are your rules. Each person wishing to address the council can only be recognized at the microphone provided for that purpose up front. You can't have more than 3 minutes to speak. The speaker can only address the council upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority. Can't be permitted to use any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others. If you'll address your comments to the council as a whole, not to individual members, it would be appreciated. And the chair can't recognize any person, neighborhood association, or organization to speak more than twice in any 30-day time period. Want to make sure we have all the rules. Anyone wishing to address the council can only do so once during a council day, either at the agenda session or at a committee meeting or at the council business meeting. Those are the rules.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. There's nobody on the list, so everybody who wants to speak, please feel free to do so.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Because that's what we need. And thank you. I guess most of y'all know who I am by now. But I'm Sylvester Harris, 3300 Curtis Street, Chattanooga,
Yes, sir.
Tennessee. I wish it would have started as soon as I got talking, but it's already started. Well, I want to speak on the problem we had last week about the nomination of an off-duty officer, which I want to give the guy all the praise that he needs to. He retired. He was probably a good officer. He's probably a good family man and all that good stuff. And it's nothing personal toward Mr. Rick Menzie, Sergeant Rick Menzie. But the problem I'm having with that nomination is that once you get your pension, you go to police balls, you have family members, people come by that's affiliated with the police department, and it's hard to be biased when you affiliated with a program that you once served in. You take example, the baseball team that was here that y'all, recommended last week. They got a tie together. They got a bond forever. And you will never be able to break that bond. And I've seen baseball teams come together, and somebody beams somebody with a baseball bat, and here come a ball, and here come the whole team out because they're going to support their players. That's just the way life is. And I just think that we could have did a little bit better in that expectation to nominate somebody from the neighborhood that's a decent individual that would do the right thing. And I'm not out to hurt any officer or to go after officers. I just want to do the right thing. I want the Lord to guide me the right way to do the right thing that we're supposed to do. If anybody on that council has that kind of attitude toward officers, I got a problem with them too. So it's not nothing personal toward that officer. It's about doing the right thing, And it hurts me that the city is going the way it's going, like the 34 cent for kids, they turned it down. We'd rather put a man in jail and house him for $60,000 a year than to put it on the first part of his life to make him a better individual, because I want a taxpayer, not a tax burden. And that's what we have when we do the things that we're doing in this city. When I looked at to see that this city is fourth in mismanagement, that disturbs me. We got to do better. And that's all I'm asking the council and everybody to do. I'm not here to stone anybody, to persecute anybody. I just want us all to do the right thing. Sometimes when it don't seem like the right thing, sometimes you got to step up and do it right. You know, because one day we got to be accounting for this stuff. So one day, you know, you're going to look back at this and wish, should I have done the right thing? I'm hoping that you look at yourself or look in the mirror or look at your family member, and they can look at you and say, you did the right thing. No matter what nobody else thought, you got to account for you in this world. Thank you, and y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Mariemont, Oak Grove. We all know the last instance of police brutality that struck a very personal chord with one of your own, which is Councilwoman Coonrod at the county level. And I want to say thank you to Councilman Gilbert, who was the only one out of 8 council persons that actually showed up for her in person, offering a level of support at the press conference. While I understand that that's not within your jurisdiction, I would be remiss if I didn't bring it to your attention that last week, former Captain Edwin McPherson and Sergeant Pedro Bacon were subpoenaed for covering up, allegedly, the rape allegations within the Chattanooga Police Department. And unfortunately, Councilwoman Coonrod has the only one that has had cojones to ask that our current police chief, who was over internal affairs at that time, to be investigated as well. What I'm here to state is something that is imperative, and it goes along with what Mr. Sylvester Harris was saying, and that is you guys made a decision out of a comfort of police without understanding the pain of the relationship that is abusive of the African American community when it comes to police. You guys have no idea, obviously, what it feels like to just be nothing more than African American and be pulled over, be nothing more than African American and be pulled out of your vehicle, be nothing more than African American and be accused of crimes that and being surveilled. You guys have almost absolutely no idea what it's like to walk through life with the stigma of color, with nothing that you can control because God chose to give you a rich history, a great race, and a wonderful contribution to this city. Hindsight is 20/20, family. And one thing that must be certain is that not only do you guys need to think over the decisions that you've made, almost going into 3 years for those who are new, several years of leadership for those who have already been on this council, but seeing the realistic outcomes, has life for African American people been improved? Have we been liberated by any of the decision making or placemaking that you guys have done? Or have we seen a stagnation for people for nothing other than the stigma and the color of their skin in this city of Chattanooga? Councilwoman Coonrod, I'm sorry because your counterparts have failed you, but your community stands with you, and we stand against police brutality. And one thing is for certain, and 2 things are for sure. God is just, and he sees everything that is happening. And I'm so sorry that this city has decided not to do better.
We appreciate your words. Thank you.
It's just a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Mott.
It ain't that crucial.
I agree.
Hi, I'm Keely Crew. I'm a business owner at 721 Broad Street in the City Center District. I'm here today to talk about the famed Chattanooga Way. It's to rally the people, not to run over them. EPB's vision for a smart grid to save money on outages transformed our mid-sized city to the gig city without taxing or raising power rates. Citizens were given a choice between EPB and Comcast to fund the infrastructure. The 1980s city visionaries planned the waterfront revitalization, and private donations built the Tennessee Aquarium. Please do not set a precedent for additional taxes in one district of the city. This model is truly not self-imposed, as many of the tenants and businesses will pay it through increased rents and other shared tax and insurance defined within their tenant leases. Several businesses and tenants who will be affected and did not advocate for self-imposed tax are here today. Some couldn't make it because it was such short notice, since this is our only time to talk before the public hearing if we're not a property owner. I have alternative solutions to suggest. How about converting River City Company business model to a membership program like the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Chattanooga Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Chattanooga Area Chamber of Commerce, Green Spaces, the Association of Visual Arts. These are all member-supported and have the same agenda. The advocating property owners for the bid can become a member and donate the same amount of money based on their property square footage footprint to River City, rather than set up a self-imposed tax precedent for the entire district. Recognize them for their tax-deductible altruistic donations in all River City publications, annual reports, public relations, and PR, and name them as corporate sponsors for all future creative placemaking spaces, such as the one at Passageways, the City Thread at Cooper's Alley, the continued things at Miller Park and Miller Plaza, the open spaces that they did for art and vacant downtown property windows. Membership donations can also be used to continue the weekly music in Miller Plaza and Miller Park, and the art and farmers markets at Waterhouse Pavilion. Just because Memphis, Knoxville, Nashville have bids, why does Chattanooga, the gig city, a city of creators, have to follow this model when we've always been leaders? The New York City bids forced out many neighborhood mom and pop businesses due to increased cost and tenant overhead. You probably barely notice the loss of small local businesses until they're gone. They're priced out. Asheville, North Carolina, Alexandria, Virginia voted down a bid for these reasons. The Savannah, Georgia dropped their bid after 2 years for mismanagement of funds. Once the bid self-imposed tax is precedent is set in the city, more emerge, and a few unelected boards determine the direction of an area and how money collected from more than property owners is spent. New York City now has 74 bids, according to the New York City Bid Association. Why create an additional tax, a separate board, additional administration costs, when there are already existing agencies within the city that have a proven track record and results to perform these services? The CVB funded. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Councilmen and women, thank you for being a part of our local city area management. My name is Denise Reed, and I represent the Concierge Office Suites located at 633 Chestnut Street. I not only represent my own business, but the over 60 businesses that operate out of my business address for full-service office space in the footprint of the bid district. There are several downtown property owners who are noticeably absent when other property owners advocating the bid are at the meetings, and we've talked to some of them and they don't support the bid, but are picking their battles. Here are some examples of responsible property owners in the district who have already contributed significantly to the renovation and beautification of the area. Property owners in Memphis, Tennessee have renovated and restored the McClellan Building and are currently planning to remodel or repurpose the First Tennessee Building, of which they own. The Charleston, South Carolina-based developer has spent over $26 million renovating our historic Reed House. Villanova Management renovated the Clemens Building in 2016, which was purchased in 2018 for $10 million by a California-based hospitality corporation, the TMC Group. And they've invested more to convert it from loft apartments to new boutique hotel concept, The Bode, which is right around the corner. Villanova Management reinvested their profits within the district, currently renovating the former St. Barnabas Nursing Home Tower to a Hotel Indigo on Pine Street and 6, which is still under construction. The DeFore brothers have invested more than $88 million to convert the former Blue Cross Blue Shield to the Westin Hotel, and then went on to build a thriving community around it of restaurants and retail shops. And they host weekly paid city-permitted street closures for community events and have hired 2 off-duty police officers for security presence in addition to their own private security staff. And they hire 3 local musicians at minimum of 5 days a week to play in their hotel venues and on 8th Street. This is all from their own money, not cost to the taxpayer. Tennessee Valley Federal Credit Union, with 2 locations in the district, gives generously to the city as they support many Chattanooga area arts, sports, community, and wellness events. Barnett Company and the Republic Center monetarily sponsors 4 Bridges Arts Festival and the Chattanooga Symphony, and more. Beautification of empty properties, Section C, Item J. These responsible property owners should not be taxed to clean up other spaces when they're already ambassadors of the city.
Good evening. Darren Wright, owner of Aaliyah Blake. I'm in the footprint on Chestnut Street. I'm going to finish where my other business people have left off. And this is how we all feel. If you're determined to implement this bid, we propose to amend the C bid proposal to read that none of the self-imposed taxes by the property owners can be passed through to lease tenants, business or residential. Contrary to the information that's being let out, these will be passed to us. I have an email from my property manager that says so, and I have the amount. The property owners, their square footage footprint, their portion of the CBID tax assessment will be published, and they are publicly recognized for their self-imposed tax contributions to central business district programs, donor recognition. The CBID is reviewed annually with a published economic impact analysis after the first and subsequent years. This will give us a little bit of insight as to if this is actually working. Language is added on the steps to dissolve the bid without costly legal fees like the one in LA that only requires justified recommendation of the City Council. And now I will begin with what I have to say. I first came to Chattanooga almost 30 years ago. I have owned a business in Chattanooga for over 22 years. I have raised children here. I have volunteered here, and I have lived by the mantra to do the next right thing. I take my responsibility to my family and those that work for me very seriously. If you've ever been faced with making payroll, then you understand the power you have to make an impact in someone's life. I am not fond of politics and do not enjoy bringing discord to my business and professional life, but today I must take a stand. Today I say no to the bid. I stand for and protect those who are looking for the opportunity to innovate and build something great. Small businesses of today and of the future. The bid assessment, taxation without representation, is a travesty. I have always invested in areas that were not considered desirable at the time and have dedicated my time, money, energy, and resources to helping improve where I do business. Pioneers like myself seeded into our community with vision, tenacity, ambition, faith, and hope for a future of not only personal success, but success for our staff and community. Pioneers paid dues for being trendsetters, such as low foot traffic, improvement hardships such as road closures for months and changing parking rules. Despite these hardships, I thrive due to hard work, our own marketing efforts, and a never give up spirit. We have served thousands of local clients and hundreds of out-of-town clients that have specifically traveled to Chattanooga to patron our company or have impressed visitors wishful their own city had someplace as cool as us. We small businesses are the lifeblood of every city. Small businesses create culture, uniqueness, and beauty. Small businesses donate 250% more than larger businesses. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to speak?
I have my hand up.
I'm sorry, you do. Councilman Gilbert, you're active.
Yes. Ma'am, the one just spoke a few minutes ago. You said you own a, come up to the stand, please. I'm sorry, ma'am.
I own Aaliyah Blake Blake Cosmetics on Chestnut Street.
So you are in that area?
I am.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, the last time we had a public hearing, some people did not own a business did speak, so I don't see why you couldn't speak.
I think
on
there
the
was some
30th.
debate on that, and it went back and forth, but apparently it's still kind of up in the opening, but I will be here to speak. I will speak on that day, absolutely, and I will continue to speak on this behalf, and I will continue to get the word out.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it
Hi.
Councilman Gilbert?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, ma'am, you have the mic.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Rose Cox. I own the Palace Theater downtown, 818 Georgia Avenue and Patton Parkway. I am here with these lovely people that just spoke before you as well. They got me an email. Fortunately, I didn't even know about this until they emailed me. Our business is professionally dying in our city. And it is because of all the taxes that come across from city and county and state. We are constantly paying taxes. And I pay taxes on things that don't make sense for me to pay taxes on, even with sales taxes. Sometimes I'm like, I don't understand why I have to pay some of the things that we pay, because we pay out so much of it to musicians and artists and people who are making this city what it is. And people like me move here from larger cities and we think, oh, we can make this work here because this could actually be a great place for entertainment, right? But in the middle of downtown Chattanooga on a Friday night, we'll have 5 people come and I still have to pay taxes on everything. So I'm also passed down other taxes that are hidden fees in things like inside of my leases, that I'm paying property taxes for buildings that we're leasing out of. So we know for a fact that we are paying double taxes on top of double taxes on top of double taxes when we pay. And we can't do anything about it. I've hired accountant after accountant and lawyer after lawyer and tried to figure out the odds and ends and where it comes out, but there's no way to get around the taxes that this city has. I own another business in Florida and I only have income taxes. And I pay 1 tax a year. That is all I have to pay. I don't have to pay anything else. When I opened a business in Chattanooga, I was like, this is gonna be great, because I thought I only have that 1 tax. Started looking into it. No one tells you when you actually open your business, no one tells you how many taxes there are in the city of Chattanooga. I found that out the hard way. When your mail doesn't make it to you, they don't care. You owe them taxes anyway, a personality tax that I just found out about because my mail didn't make it to me. So I am here as a business owner pleading for people to change this, because I will leave this city because I can't afford to stay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your comment.
Hi, my name is Aaliyah, E-L-E-A for the record, because you guys spelled it wrong. And I'm going to finish reading her speech because I think it's important. Small businesses donate 250% more than large businesses to local nonprofits and community causes. And they also pay a greater share of taxes, just like how the person before was discussing. Why do they pay that greater share of taxes? Because 1, we don't have expensive attorneys or tax accountants that help us figure out how to get out of loopholes. And 2, because we actually want to support the community that we are in, because we live here. We know these people. We care about them. And yet when the business improvement district was proposed, we were not consulted. Instead, we have been trying to get the word out. I've been walking door to door, I guess you could say, asking people, hey, do you know what the business improvement district is? And no one can tell me yes. Bids from other states and countries and counties have pushed out many small businesses. while shouting the word improvement. Instead, when we say that small businesses will end up paying for this, we are accused of spreading misinformation, despite being told by our landlords how much more we will need to pay monthly. Some have seen this, and in places like New York City, they have fought against expanding bids, and in Asheville have worked to stop bids entirely and abandon them after implementation. People enjoy cities because of their individuality, not because of the chain establishments or the amount of hotels they offer. Cities rich in small business culture are more favored. We must consider more creative and sustainable options to bid. We must not allow ourselves to be pushed into a 10-year sentence with no voice. We must say no to taxation without representation, and we must say no to an unelected board that will handle our hard-earned money. We must say no to assessments that can increase up to 5% annually, regardless of ROIs. And we must say no to redundant expenditures and loopholes that create an end for a bid that was denied, only to be resurrected as a resolution instead of an ordinance as a route around the required 364 days before it could be resubmitted by the Tennessee legislation. This most undemocratic method of establishing this bid is a slap in the face to not only small businesses that have built equity in the downtown area, but to all Chattanoogan's. The next right thing is to listen to small business owners and create a more conducive environment for their success.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Council, what's your pleasure? We are adjourned. Hey, yes, sir.